But 2020's learned it's not just the employees who knew about the dangerous buses. The Federal Transportation Department had found unsafe conditions at Hammond Yellow coach lines numerous times in years past. The company was forced to pay fines but allowed to continue operating. And just 1 year before the crash, the feds were again alerted to safety problems at the bus company by the Indiana State Police.
We were demonstrating again and again that Hammond Yellow was an unsafe carrier and should not be on the road.
During 2 surprise inspections at the company's headquarters by the state police, 23 out of the 30 buses inspected failed, most of them because of serious problems like brakes and steering. But only the Federal Transportation Department had the power to shut the company down, so the Indiana police called the feds in. And unbelievably, federal inspectors gave the company a satisfactory rating.
How was the federal government able to give them a satisfactory rating if you found all these problems?
That's our frustration. I think the federal government has to respond to that.
The rating that we apply to a motor carrier is an assessment of their total operation.
Clinton Magby is the DOT's Director of Field Operations. Under their 5-point federal rating system, even if most of a company's buses are unsafe, if it passes the other 4 conditions, such as having insurance and qualified drivers, the company gets a satisfactory rating.
What about this system that you're using? I don't want a company given a satisfactory rating that has a majority of their buses unsafe. Is that right?
Again, our programs are designed to reduce accidents and reduce the number of carriers that are not complying, and we think we're on the right track in that regard.
Magby claims the number of bus accidents and fatalities is down. In fact, DOT figures show that bus accidents and deaths have gone up in the last 2 recording years. But critics say the problem is not just the 5-point rating system. It's also the DOT's annual inspection program. You may see a federal government inspection sticker on many charter buses, but it turns out the stickers do not mean the feds have actually done the inspection. In 24 states, the bus companies are allowed to inspect their own buses. Schiavo says self-inspection doesn't make any sense.
Self-inspection is a little like giving yourself a final exam and then grading it. Companies are not likely to flunk their own buses as being unsafe, even if they are.
By allowing somebody to inspect themselves, do you think you're going to get as critical an inspection as if you or another third party inspected them?
The annual inspection is one of the several other mechanisms that we have in place.
You're not answering my question. Do you think that the best means of inspection is allowing someone to inspect themselves?
The means of inspection, the bottom line is that we want safe operating equipment.
Right.
It's not who inspects the vehicle, it's the results that comes from it.
Occasionally, the DOT goes to a bus company's headquarters for an inspection. But even when it does, 2020's learned it's often no surprise to the company.
When you're doing a compliance review, going to a company's headquarters, looking at their maintenance program, you call ahead to arrange that visit.
Is that a problem?
I don't know. I would think so. If I was a company, I'd say, hey, the feds are coming. We better get our act in order. Let's fix those brakes over there.
The big thing is that as a result of the contact, the desired result is accomplished.
The desired result was finally accomplished in the case of Hammond Yellow coach lines. After the deadly crash, the DOT put them out of service.
Do you think you can say with assurance to the motoring public that the vast majority of commercial buses are safe?
The message that I would give to the motoring public is that bus transportation is safe. It could be safer. Is there more that we can do? Yes, there. And we are going to be looking for ways to do that.
High beams!
But with these state inspectors finding serious safety problems on half the charter buses they look at, the concern is that there will be more accidents and more deaths before the lessons of Bus 42 are learned.
It can happen to anyone, as long as there are people out doing business with total disregard for public safety. It can happen to anyone, as long as there's weak regulation. It can happen to anyone. It could be your child on a school trip. It could be your mother on a church trip. It could be your brother, sister. It could be anyone.
Arnold, that leaves us a bit at sea. You know, what if we want to charter a bus? How do we know what company to use?
Well, you can call the Federal Transportation Department, has an 800 number where you can get a company's rating. But critics say that that rating is not a good indication of a company's safety record.
Yeah, right. Now, what's the government's reaction to criticism about this?
Well, interestingly, just recently, the Transportation Department went on record as saying they're considering changing that 5-point rating system that's been so widely criticized and going to a performance-based system. And the industry says they would welcome that.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It would.
So there may be some progress here.
It looks like down the road. They haven't said when they'll change it, but they're considering it.
Yeah. Thank you, Arnold.
Okay.